Hello. That's Drusilla. She's probably gonna be doing this the whole time, but that's okay because we love her. Today I wanted to try out using my Caruso steam curlers. I bought these a long time ago and used them maybe 2 or 3 times and was just really dissatisfied with the result. So I got inspired to try them again recently. I like to curl my hair, but I'm also trying to really trying to take better care of my hair. So part of that is not using lots of heat tools on it. So that's why I bought these curlers, and then yeah, just wasn't very satisfied with them. So put them in the drawer, locked them away, and here we are like a year later or something. So I watched some videos. I got inspired to try them again. So I watched some videos on YouTube now that I'm like super into the YouTube world. I watched some videos and learned a couple of tricks. So one is to add salt because that will increase the temperature. And the second thing is to heat the cap thing as well. So you put this on, heat it up, put it in your hair, and while you're doing that, you heat this part up. So that I hadn't done before. So I'm gonna try it. It is hair wash day, so I'm gonna immediately wash my hair after that, but here we go. We've got a nice steam, which I should use this when I do skin treatments. Okay, so just put it on like this, and you only have to leave it for a few seconds. So essentially you put it on and then isolate the section that you want. And then pick that up, put this on the steam so that doesn't stick. Oh, there's even ridges. Okay. And then start at the root, not at the ends. Okay, so I read the instructions and I didn't recall them saying put that on, but since there's actually like a little ridge here that holds it on, so it is definitely intended to be used. I even have the instructions, so I could verify that. But anyway, okay. So then, and yes, I am sitting on the floor. I've found this little spot here. The door is open so that the cats can come and go freely without us having to get up every minute or so, because cats just don't like closed doors. They don't necessarily want to come in or go out, they just don't want the door closed. So the door is open, there's lots of wind and birds and other sounds, so the audio is just going to be terrible, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so on to the next one. And yeah, so I've found this little area by the window to sit on the floor. That plant is not usually there. Okay, so there it is. It's not usually there. It's usually like in front of me against the window, but I just thought I'd add it there for intrigue. So you're welcome. I hope you enjoy the plant. It's going very quickly. I'm using the big ones, and I do have a lot of hair, but maybe I shouldn't be putting so much hair on each one. But they hold really well when you do. Oh, and this sweater I'm wearing is one of my hand knits, and I swear that I did not put it on specifically because I was going to record something and I like trying to show off a hand knit. It is just really effing cold. It's May. I live in Northern California, like Bay Area, not like super northern. But like when most people say they live in Northern California, they mean the Bay Area. There is a lot of California north of here. Okay, that one's not done as well. Yeah, so it's a My Favorite Things Knitwear pattern, I believe. It's one of the very few garments that I've made for myself and still own to this day. It hasn't been my favorite fit. I really like the way that it looks in the photos and the pattern, and if I get it to sit like that, then I do like it. Like, I like the slouchy shoulder look, and I like the mock collar, like the big wide collar. But it just doesn't stay like this. It falls like this, and then it might be because I used whatever yarn I had in my stash and not what the pattern recommended. I know that I used Knitting for Olive silk held with their silk mohair because I had a ton of it in my stash. So it probably would not be as drapey if I used the yarn that they actually recommended. But it is warm, so that's the point of the story. I'm wearing it because it is cold and this is warm, and I'm wearing it over another sweater because it's that cold inside of our house. We even get a lot of daylight in the house, so, but it's just a cold house. Okay. This is much easier than starting at the tips like I usually do. But one of the videos I watched, she said, don't do that. Can't get this one. And you do get like really spiky ends when you do that. So let's see how this turns out. My hair's very oily. I haven't washed it since Wednesday night, and today's Sunday, which is normal. I wash my hair on Wednesdays and Sundays, but I usually like shower in between. I think I haven't showered since Thursday. It's just been one of those weekends where like you're just a slob all weekend, and that's fine. But that's where I find myself today. So I will have to clean myself later today. But I thought I'd just try this before, and if it looks terrible, then I'm gonna wash my hair anyway. And if it doesn't, then next time I want my hair to be curly, I can know that I can actually rely on this method. This weekend, oh, see, this is what I normally do. That's not the method I'm trying today. I need to switch hands. So yeah, this weekend's been pretty lazy. My fiance has had to work all weekend. He has a big presentation coming up. So he's in that state of mind, which is sad. We are both cancer biologists, and we do very similar jobs. So I know exactly what he feels like at the moment, with the caveat that he's farther along in his career. So he has like higher expectations on him, and he's like a higher level, so his is more stressful than any presentation I had to put together, but he is also like a less anxious person, so maybe it's slightly comparable to like me having to put together a very average presentation. Puts me through a lot of stress, whereas for him it doesn't. Like, so this is a big presentation. He's working all weekend. We were going to go to a Greek Independence Day already passed. Greek Easter event with his cousin who lives in the area, but he ended up just feeling really stressed out about his presentation, so we decided to stay home so that he could make more progress on that. Which is fine for me because then I have time. I mean, it would have been nice. It was at a nice big house in Sonoma, which is like up near Napa Valley area. So a very nice area, very nice house that it's going to be hosted at. But it's a bit of a drive. We would have had to get up early, get ready, go meet his cousin. All of these are falling. And we just didn't need that this weekend, and we both slept in this morning, which is really nice. I usually don't sleep in at all, like even on the weekends. I actually like to get up earlier on the weekends because I get the whole day to do whatever I want. But today we both slept in until about 10, which we both needed. I don't know why I needed it. I knit all day yesterday, but I felt like I needed it for some reason. Probably because I did nothing, and so my brain is just dead. It's just mush, and it needed time to recover and sleep. Okay, this is the last one. So yeah, it works out for me anyway, because then I get plenty of time to knit, film. I'm gonna bake some banana bread after this while these set. I wish I could get this one to stay better, but it's okay. This is just a test. Again, I'm gonna redo this one though. Maybe I'll do a smaller. Okay. I actually see something. I'm gonna use a slightly smaller one of this size. If anybody else uses these and has tips other than adding the salt and to steam this, let me know. I would really love to get good at these and to be able to use this for all my hair curling needs. And this is like pretty easy to travel with, so it's not much bigger than the curling iron. I mean, this is not easy to travel with, but I can just take out the ones that I need. Oh, I left that one on a bit long. It's dripping. So later I am gonna actually talk about knitting, but for some reason I felt like starting with this. I like the vibe of doing my chores with curlers in my hair. I feel like it's reminiscent of a different time, or actually it just makes me feel like a housewife, which is kind of like a dream of mine. Okay, I'm gonna redo this one as well. Okay, we're actually already seeing some results, so things are looking up. Let's put the smaller one here too. The only reason my hair had any wave in it was because I have had it in a braid for 3 days. I didn't even brush my hair yesterday. I just slept in the same braid for 2 nights. It was not anyone's typical standard of hair maintenance, but it was weekend hair. Yeah, it feels so wintry. It's sad. Yesterday it was just pouring all day. Like we had a week, like 2 weeks of sun, so it really felt like spring, summer, other than the intense winds that we get here, which are very cold. But it's just, there's no getting around it. So we woke up yesterday to pouring rains, and that was really sad. So I think that's part of why yesterday just became like dead on the couch energy. Okay, so now they are in, and I'm going to let them sit. I think I should run a hairdryer over it and heat them more. And I might do that, but for now, I'm gonna go bake some banana bread. Okay, so I find myself in the kitchen further trying to fulfill my housewife, hopefully destiny. Time to make some banana bread. We had some really, really old bananas that have been frozen in the freezer for a long time. So it's time to do something with them. So I have my mashed, or not mashed, I have my bananas that I'm about to mash. Delicious. I'm excited to have some banana bread though. There's a bit of a debate that we have going in our house, and that is banana bread a dessert? So it is very sweet. It has sugar in it. So I get that it's not like bread, which sometimes has some sugar in it. The cat will follow me wherever I go. Drusilla, go play, go outside. So my fiance and I define desserts a little bit differently. He considers a bowl of fruit dessert. I consider that part of a meal, not a dessert. I do not consider banana bread to be a dessert. He does, but it doesn't really have a category. It's like a pastry, which I wouldn't consider pastries to be desserts. Like croissants, they're sweet, they're full of butter, they're delicious. It's like a sweet bread. It's not a dessert, right? Am I right? I think I'm right. But like, you never see banana bread on a menu for dessert. You see like a bakery as a pastry. It doesn't really fit into a dinner time meal. But anyway, his sweet tooth is nothing compared to mine. So to me, when I say it's time for dessert, what's for dessert? Banana bread is not an adequate answer, but for him it is. So this I would snack on, like on a weekend. I would love to have this available on like Saturdays and Sundays. We both do intermittent fasting, so we don't really eat breakfast per se. We eat breakfast at like 2 or 3 o'clock. Sometimes he just does one meal a day, like dinner. So I'm not gonna eat it for breakfast. If I ate breakfast, I would love to grab a piece of this and like take it in the car with me on the way to work. But we don't eat breakfast, so that complicates the discussion. So where does the banana bread fit in? For me, it's not a dessert, so I'm gonna have to have chocolate or something. So this would not satisfy me for dessert. I would have it with, like, right now it's almost 2 o'clock, so we're about to eat. I would have it now-ish with the remainder of my coffee. Okay, I think this is adequately mashed. It's not gonna get any more mashed. I have to go get the cat to go outside. She gets plenty of attention, so don't judge me, but the cats are indoor, outdoor. She loves to go outside, but she can be very needy, and right now I'm busy doing something very important. She is very cute. Look how cute she is. You want to say something? You were very, very loud not that long ago. Do you have a little bit of stage fright? Come on, say something. You had a lot to say. Everybody's waiting to hear. Put me down. Let's go outside. Okay, I gave her the old 1-2 toss and she seemed to run away. So I think she will be outside for at least 2 minutes. So, okay, we mashed the bananas. I'm gonna add butter, melted butter. If this was actually like a baking channel, then I would probably show you what I'm doing. But I feel like talking about random things, and I don't feel like watching a bowl, like zooming in on this bowl of banana mash is as interesting as me. So we'll see. I could be wrong. I might just cut all of this out. That didn't mix very well together. I think it's because the bananas are not at room temperature, which she specifically said, the recipe that I follow specifically says let everything come to room temperature. All of her recipes say that, and I never do it. I just don't have that kind of foresight. Baking for me is a little bit spontaneous. If I have to plan ahead, I just won't. I won't do it. So it's fine. I've made this recipe before. It tastes delicious, but mine does not look nearly as good as hers in the bowl. The person that I basically get all of my baking recipes from is Sugar Spun Run. She has an amazing YouTube channel. So many videos. She's like, I don't know how many she comes out with a week. I don't know how somebody could bake so much. I guess if it's your job. I don't even know if it's her job. I assume it is because she does it so much. But anyway, highly recommend you check some of her recipes out if you like to bake. Oh, it's because I haven't added the oil. I think I was supposed to add the oil at the same time as the butter. I'm supposed to use canola or vegetable oil. I use olive oil for everything. I know it's probably not proper. It's not like the right, doesn't get the right temperature and consistency, whatever, but we use olive oil for everything. My impression is that it's better for you. I also have a Greek fiance, so like olive oil is just part of their culture. Okay, now maybe this will mix better now that the oil is in there. Okay, that did not help. It's still very chunky. That's okay. It will continue to blend out as it comes to room temperature, I think. I have recently been converted to baking or measuring things with weight, by weight instead of by volume. As an American, I have always stood for our special units that we have here, but it is really nice to use weight, especially for things like brown sugar. Like, you don't have to pack it to make sure you get the volume right. You just weigh it out. 135 grams of brown sugar. Let's give a little scoopy scoop. This is a scoop that I got while I worked at Starbucks. In pharmacy school, I worked at Starbucks for 2 years. And somehow I came home with this. I don't think I intentionally stole it, but I didn't buy it. I kind of think maybe we were getting rid of it. And I just figured I would give it a new life, instead of it going in the trash or something. So I love this. I use this to like scoop out all of my dry ingredients baking. So 135 grams of brown sugar. It's supposed to be light or dark. I think I only have light. I only buy one kind. I don't really discriminate either one. I know they're different, but dark has like more molasses in it, so it's sweeter and stuff, but I just use them interchangeably. Not a professional baker. And then we also need 100 grams of granulated sugar. Well, I overdid it, so I need to scoop some back in there. I do cross-pollinate my baking ingredients a little bit by not using the same scoop. Sue me. 2 large eggs, room temperature. This is another thing that I don't do properly. I have never in my life tested like whether eggs are fresh or not. Like put them in water and see if they float or fall over or stand. Like my fiance always does it, but I have never done that. In my brain, eggs don't expire. I'm sorry. I have never gotten sick from eggs. I've even used eggs that I was in denial that they weren't rotten because they smelled bad, but they were the only eggs that I had. And I was in the middle of a bake. I used them. The bake tasted fine. I did not get sick. I mean, they're getting baked, right? So if there's any microorganisms in there that shouldn't be, they're gonna get killed in the oven. I'm not making my baking sound very appetizing, but it actually is. This stuff is real good. This is buttermilk, which I made by adding vinegar to whole milk. I think this is a good look for me. It's gonna be good. 250 grams of flour. Trusty scoop. This weekend, we're going to see my dad and his wife in Florida. So I only have to work 4 days this week. We're flying out Friday morning. And then we come home Monday. And then I just decided to take the whole next week off. My brain just needed a bit of a break. And I'm just really excited about some knitting projects, some creative things that I'm doing. And so I just decided I have made it the whole year so far, May, almost half of the way through the year without taking vacation. So I'm allowing myself this extra 4 days of just doing whatever I want. I'm gonna be home. I'm very excited. So 4 days, and then I get a whole 7, 8, 9, 10 days. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days off. And we'll only be traveling for 4 of them. So that means 6, yeah, 4 days plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt. The noise monster is back. That was all a good amount of time. What do you want? What do you need? You have food, you have water, you have a toilet that's not super dirty. You want some treats? That'll give me a little bit more time. Okay, we're about to add salt, baking powder, baking sugar, baking powder, baking soda. I recently had a stroke of genius. I have suffered so much weighing these 2 ingredients out. Salt, oh, well, you can't see the label. Salt and baking soda, because this comes in the box, the orange box, and you have to like shove the measuring thing in there. When it's full, it works well, because then you can like scrape the spoon against the edge as it comes out and get good weight. But once it starts getting empty, that really changes. Salt, I think my entire life I've just been pouring salt from the big shaker into a measuring spoon and just wasting more than I'm using. And I don't know why it took me this long, but I have jars everywhere. I always talk about how many jars I have. So these were 2 jars that I just had sitting around with lids that fit them. And so I just added these ingredients here, and I bought a label maker not that long ago, and so I got to use my label maker. And now life is so much easier. I struggled for too long, and I've remedied that situation. 1/2 teaspoon, so 2/4, right? And another 1/2 teaspoon salt. Two, non-wasted, not even a single morsel. And then we're gonna gently fold this into this. have finally come to the knitting portion of the episode, which is probably the most interesting part. I have, I think, just one finished object to share, which I made a whole video about, so should not come as a surprise. And then I have, I have 2 objects. So 2 finished objects to share and 1 in progress, works in progress, WIP, to share. And then I actually did decide to start or plan for another knit that is following someone else's pattern, making something for myself, essentially. I talked previously about trying to avoid doing that because I need to spend my time as much as possible working on my own designs, but I also want to work through my stash a bit. I have a pretty small stash, I think, as far as stashes go. I see a lot of people having like walls and walls of yarn behind them during their videos, and to each their own, but that is very different than me. I have one like basket that's not even full of yarn, but I have a lot of yarn in there that I have no plans for, and it would be really great to use it up. I like to have basically no stash. And then I think once I've identified yarns that I really like to use for my own designs, I'll probably stash up on those yarns. But overall, I kind of want to clean out everything. I had 3 baskets of yarn. Either end of last year or beginning of this year, I got rid of 75% of it. I have had a lot of yarn that I had stored up over the years that currently is just yarn that I wouldn't use. A lot of it is like fairly cheap yarns that have lots of plastic content, acrylic, polyamide, all of that. And that's just not currently what I like to use. Those were yarns that I acquired over the years when I was younger in college. I didn't have a lot of expendable cash, so I bought what I could get, and I didn't at the time really care about having plastics in my clothing. But I have changed my feelings about that. So I had all of this yarn that was never going to get used, and it really wasn't worth very much. So I donated most of it. I actually was able to return some of it to Joanne. I had it for almost 2 years probably, so I wasn't sure if they were going to take it back, but I just decided to go in and act like it was not something I had for 2 years and just see if they would accept it, and they did. So I took back a lot of it, maybe like almost a full basket of it, and got some money back. So that was great. And then the rest of it I donated to like a craft donation store here. And that felt amazing because I did not want to move that yarn. Like the next time we move, I did not want to have to pack all that yarn up. I sold a couple skeins of yarn on Depop actually. After I donated all that yarn, I found 2 more skeins. Skeins? I think it's skeins, but for some reason I always say it wrong. I get nervous and then I say it wrong. Skeins. I found 2 skeins of yarn that were like tucked away in a drawer. I didn't know they were there. And it was like right after I had donated this yarn, which it was a bit of a drive to take it, and I put it off for a long time. So I finally did it and then found more yarn, of course. So I have good stash management now. I just have that one basket and I want to keep working through it. This was actually, I made this because I wanted to use a bunch of yarn in my stash. So that was the main reason that I made this sweater. I had the pattern. I had bought the pattern because I liked it. But I stash patterns actually. So I buy patterns and then I never make them. But this one, so I wanted to make something with all of the extra yarn that I had. I designed a bridal sweater for somebody last year, I suppose. So I bought a ton of like white and beige yarns because I wasn't sure exactly what color I wanted to use, and I knew I wanted to integrate multiple colors and not have it just be one shade. So I had a ton, I like way overbought. So I had a ton of yarn. This is made out of 100% silk and silk mohair from Knitting for Olive. And I used up a lot of what I had, but I still have more. So part of the reason that I want to make another sweater for myself is to use up the rest of that mohair. I think I've used up a majority of the silk. Maybe I have a skein or two left, but I have 4 skeins of like a white mohair that I'm just ready to be done with. I am not using mohair so much anymore. I have found lots of other lace weight yarns that I am using more. So yeah, maybe I should just talk about that sweater now. I have brought my basket. So it is a big basket, but it's not full. And a lot of it is cotton, 100% cotton yarn, like sugar and cream. I bought a lot of this years ago when I think it was when COVID started, maybe. It could be even older than that, but I was planning to knit a bunch of dishcloths. My mom made a lot of dishcloths growing up, and it was just kind of like her signature thing. The pattern wasn't anything special, but it feels like a family heirloom type thing, like a pattern that's passed down. Because it is passed down, but I also see people making very similar ones, so it's not all that special of a design. But I have made some for myself, and I used to use them to wash my dishes, but then when I moved in with my now fiance, he thought it was super weird that I use dishcloths to wash my dishes. Apparently it's kind of weird. Now we use a brush, and I'm on board with that because the dishcloths, like, you have to have somewhere to hang them. But I didn't know that it was kind of weird. My dad always used a dishcloth, and my mom always made dishcloths, so it felt normal to me. But that's all to say, I have a bunch of this yarn because I'm like, I was more of a simple knitter back in the day. So I got inspired to make a sweater for myself because it is always really cold here. I need more sweaters. I wear like big, not hoodies, but like the hoodie without the hood. So I guess it's like a pullover, but like that same type of material, like something very ugly. And I always have to wear one because it's always cold in our house. Even now it's May, it's really, really cold today. I'm wearing 2 sweaters. And so I want to make another one that I feel is cute, because I like to be cute at home. I don't like to look like the goblin that I always do look like. So I thought if I can use a lot of the stash that I have and check the box of making something that's warm and cozy and is not something that feels like it's too nice to just lounge around in and like throw in the washer, then I can justify using my time to make it. I'm gonna make the Velvety Oversized Sweater by Gregoria Fibers. I think it's really cute. I've had this pattern for years and have never planned on actually making it, but I was looking through my patterns that I had to see if anything if there's anything that I already have that I can use the yarn that I already have, which I have so much of this cotton yarn. And honestly, I probably could try to return some of this to Joann's as well, but this is even older than that other yarn, so I don't even know if I bought it at Joann's. I probably did. That's where I got all my yarn. I probably did. You're supposed to use cotton merino for it. I looked up the information and this seemed like it was not the same for sure. It's not the same weight as the cotton merino that they use for the pattern, but it's 70% cotton. This is 100% cotton, and I figured I'd give it a go. So I had these 4 colors of cotton. By the way, I hate this yarn. I hate the way this yarn feels, but I think I can be pretty brutal with a sweater. Like, wash it, dry it, don't care if the cats like claw at it, because the yarn is not that nice. And I think it won't be uncomfortable. It won't be super cozy like this, but this yarn is so nice that this is actually the first time I've just worn it around the house because the cats will scratch at it, but I was so cold that I needed something cozy. So I have these 4 colors. I went back and forth. I know I have mostly white, so I know the bulk of the sweater is gonna be white, but then I decided, well, I don't have enough to do the whole sweater. I need like 13 skeins. I have 4 white, and then I have like 3 pinks, 1 brown, and 1 green. So I am gonna buy more to complete this, but I thought I could use 2 colors. It's a single color pattern, the way that they did it, but I think I'm gonna put a stripe of color like at the ends of the sleeves and at the ends of the body. And so the top, most of it will be white, and then I went back and forth about which color to do. I originally thought I was going to do pink because I have the most pink, and that was one of the aims of making this. But in the end, I decided to do brown, even though I only have one other brown, or 1 brown. But I just figured if I use the pink, it's gonna be white and pink, which I love pink, but it's gonna feel very like little girl. And I just wanted something that I felt more confident that I would like. I think because the white is so white that the pink is just gonna feel like a child's color palette. So I'm gonna do white and brown. Mostly white with the bottom being brown. I have 4 of these and I need 6. So I bought 2 browns. That's the only thing I've bought so far. I figure I made sure that these are both in stock, the white and the brown. So I figured I'll start with this one brown with one of the brown mohairs that I ordered, and then see how far one gets me, and then I will buy however much, maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 more browns, and then just knit until the brown is gone, and then switch over to the white. And then I'll probably have to buy more white at some point once I figure out how much I need. But although I am buying more, I should be negative. Actually, I have five whites. This one I haven't used much of. I have 5, there's another one. 5 whites, and then I'm gonna use 1 brown, so that's 6 plus 4 of the mohair. So that's 10 skeins that I think I should be negative after this project. I am excited about this. I don't think it's gonna be the most comfortable sweater that I've ever made, but I did go ahead and do some swatches. I had to swatch because I'm using such a different yarn than the pattern calls for. But so I knitted a swatch flat. This is one mohair and 1 cotton. I didn't understand the concept of knitting it in the round, like it explicitly says. I looked at it again the second time after I knit this, and it said like in the round, but it just didn't click with me. So I also wanted to swatch 2 skeins of mohair because this isn't that comfortable. So I did that, and then I did it like in the round, and I didn't want to waste this yarn, so I didn't like cut it and wash it. This is much softer, and I was gonna do this, but then I was gonna have to buy even more mohair, which is the most expensive part of this. And so I just decided that was too far off of the aim of this project. So I'm gonna do just one mohair and one cotton held together. And I think the swatch is close enough. This is just meant to be a very oversized, comfortable sweater. It's already comes with a lot of positive ease built in. And then I sized up 2 sizes. So it's gonna be huge. I don't think the fit really matters, so I'm not gonna worry too much about the gauge, but it's close enough that it will be reasonable. I am not quite starting working on this. Well, I've ordered the mohair, but I can't start on it until I get the brown mohair. But I'm not quite ready to start on it anyway. I'll just keep talking about what I'm working on, and then I'll talk about what is finished. The other thing I am working on is this skirt that I'm designing. I finished the waist band and picked up stitches all the way around. I'm going to add a button. Well, I have a buttonhole, so there will be a button, or maybe like 2 buttons so that the sizing can be adjustable. That way it can be high-waisted or around the waist. I think the waistband turned out really nicely, and the picking up of the stitches, I think, turned out beautifully. I did earlier put these on. Sorry, I dropped a couple stitches, as is typical. I did put it on some waist yarn and try it on. I think the waistband is great. I wanted to see also how flowy it's going to be, or straight. I haven't really knit enough to get a great sense of that, but I did figure out what I want to do in terms of increasing. Down the skirt, I am very excited about this project. I am just following where my intuition takes me. I really haven't planned it out that much. I just started knitting the waistband and then decided to add a buttonhole and then picked up all of the stitches. I'm just kind of like going with the flow and letting my muse take me where she wants to go. And that is really what I like to do with my knitting. I want to get better at it and continue to practice and build my skills, but that is really what I want to do with my designs and my brand, is design unique pieces that just come out of who I am and my essence. And that this is the first time I've done that with something other than a scarf. A scarf is pretty easy to design, but like an actual garment takes a lot more know-how and time and dedication and blank, 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 all of these things. So I am very happy with how that's going. It's gonna take a long time. It's gonna take a really long time because it is see-through. And I don't want it to be see-through. I want to be able to wear this as its own garment and not have to wear something underneath it. So I think I will come back and pick up and knit a second layer after I'm done. So this is gonna take a really long time. I think I will do a different color underneath, but then I'll need to order a different color of yarn, and that's another thing. So I've talked about this yarn that I ordered, and I wanted it to come wound because having to like hand wind this thin of yarn is a nightmare because of how much meterage that you get. So I ordered it, anyway, it came wound as 2 strands, which is my fault. That's annoying. I want to figure out how to get 1 strand. So I've been emailing with this company. The customer service woman is not very pleasant. I think she thinks I'm an idiot. I haven't been able to communicate with her exactly what my question is. It's a UK brand, so I think maybe some of the vocabulary is just different, or I just don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm still trying to get an answer out of her for how to get it as a single strand. I think I can just order it as is and not have to select wind as an option. But I don't know what form it's going to come in, because usually if you don't ask for it to be wound, it comes in a hank. But you can also have them wind it as a skein / hank, which those are very different things to me. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this ordered to come in a form that is usable, whether it's a ball, skein, cake, anything other than a hank, essentially, so that I don't have to do anything to it before I start using it, and have it be a single strand. So after I figure that out, I think I will order a few more colors of this yarn. That'll be exciting. So what I'm still working on, I'm designing a bookmark for a coworker of mine. I'm still working on that, but I'm on the final stretch. I have designed it. I have a pile. I have a pile of all of the swatches and design things that I've tested. And I'm finally on the final product. I'm taking it extremely slow because this is something where I want it to be perfect, and it's very hard to fix any mistakes. Even like a stitch that gets too stretched out, it really won't get fixed. It's just gonna be imperfect, and I want this to be perfect. So I can only knit a little bit at a time before I feel myself starting to make mistakes. And I actually did drop a stitch the other day and I had to go back several rows, so I've taking some time away from it. And then, so this week I think I will finish that. That will be really exciting. And those are all the things that I'm currently working on, mostly the skirt. The things that I have finished are this scarf that I made a video about, a weird little video. I love the way that it turned out. It's got some creases because I had it folded up, but I think it's just stunning. The fabric is so soft and flowy. So again, when I order more colors, I will have this in mind for what colors I want it to be in. Definitely a white, but I don't know what other colors, but I wanted to show if I can. It doesn't show up very well. Actually, you see it better. I think if I show it from the wrong side, you can see it better. The blocking that I did to create those little loops on the edge. I use blocking wires, but it's very, very tedious, but it's so worth it because look how finished and perfect the edge looks. So that's one of my finished objects, which I'm very proud of, but the blocking is a bit of a nightmare. It's so like pillowy and soft. I can't wait to have more colors because I ordered this color because I think it could be good for bridal stuff. And I am designing something bridal related, and I wanted a light blue. So that's why I ordered this color. It's not necessarily my favorite color for integrating into my own wardrobe because it's a little bit too bright of a blue, I think, for my personal wardrobe. So I want to order more colors and then make some in colors that I'll actually wear. The other finished object I have is this little bow that I made for use as a home decor. Put it up close. I love this. I think it turned out so cute. And I definitely plan on making more. I made it so that it has this little band in the back and a chain that's adjustable. So this is about the widest girth that it can fit around, but it can go around something really skinny too. And then this way you don't have to like untie the bow and tie it around and have to get it perfect every time. It's just, it comes as is and you can put it on a variety of things and it's just easy. It's not super easy because it has like a typical jewelry hook, lobster claw, I think is what it's called. It's not super easy to use that, but I think it's the best thing because the magnet version would be easier, but it wouldn't be adjustable. So I think this works well. It just takes a little bit of patience in putting it on and taking it off something. But this isn't something I imagine people moving all the time. Like, I would put it on a jar and have it be there for a long time. So I love this. I think I will list this little beauty for sale. Maybe with this jar. I haven't decided which jar to list it for sale with. This is like an apple juice jar, which I love. I think it's super cute. I'm not gonna sell my frillies, but yeah, if you're interested in this, keep your eyes open, because it might be listed on the website. But I definitely love this and want to make more and have this be something that is available for purchase. If you are a knitter, this is also like something like this is a great item to make with little bits of mohair that you have left over. So if you're trying to use those little leftovers, then making a little bow or something dainty like that is a great use of it. I think that's all of my knitting things. I also wanted to touch base on a few like other unrelated things that are not knitting, things unrelated to knitting. That I talked about in a previous video. One of those being books that I'm reading. This is the current novel that I'm reading. I have not made very much progress. This is one of my bookmarks, which I love. I love having a dainty little bookmark like this. These I do have for sale on my website. Not in this dimension though, I don't think. Anyway, I have not made it very far. This is a very more challenging book to read than the previous books that I've been reading. Charlotte Bronte is a beautiful author. Like her writing is really beautiful, but you have to actually pay attention to what you're reading fully. At least me. I don't have much practice in reading more difficult literature, but that's why I'm reading it, because I want to get better at reading. I just haven't been doing much reading. I think because I typically read at night, and recently I've been so into knitting, like the skirt I'm really excited about. So I've pretty much been knitting until my eyes are falling, so I'm physically falling asleep. So there's no way I can read a chapter of this. But on nights where I do get to bed before I'm falling asleep, then I read a chapter. Luckily the chapters are very short, so I can finish a chapter before falling asleep. So I'm going to continue working on this. It is a good book. It's like entertaining, and it's not hard to understand like some older books are. This was written it was originally published in 1847. That's crazy. That's almost 200 years ago. And the language is really quite similar. I mean, it's much more sophisticated than how we talk now, but it's not like Shakespeare or something, which I know is much older, but it's a very old book. And I didn't appreciate how old it was until I saw that. The other thing that I'm trying to read is Personal Finance for Dummies. I have not stayed on my trend of reading a chapter a day every Saturday and Sunday. I think I read 0 chapters 2 weekends ago and 1 chapter last weekend, and so far I have read 0 chapters this weekend. I'm gonna try to read 1 chapter tonight. It's actually getting to the part that I'm interested in, like investing. That was my main impetus for starting to read this book, is because I want to understand finance and specifically investing better before I jump into it, so that I actually understand what I'm doing and hopefully make better decisions. So I've actually made it to that part. So hopefully I am motivated to keep reading. I'm not in a rush to finish this, but I do want to read this in entirety. So reading is going, but going very slowly. The other thing is I'm interested if anybody else uses these. It's like a pore vacuum. I struggle with my acne-prone skin, and I have tried to take a step away from different like skin products because I tend to be allergic to them or they make me break out, and I make things worse when I try new skincares. This I have bought years ago and never used much, but I've been seeing ads for these a lot lately, probably because I clicked on one and so they keep sending me more, but they do seem to be coming back in popularity. So I thought I'd give it a try again, but try it like more regularly. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been using it twice a week after I shower. And my skin is much better. I don't have any huge breakouts. I will have to keep going because my breakouts are mostly hormonal and I haven't made it through a whole cycle yet, so I have to see how the whole month goes. But I'm actually quite pleased with how my skin is looking right now, so I don't know how much I can credit this, but I'm gonna keep using it twice a week and hopefully the whole month goes well. But I'm curious if anybody else uses these, and if you do, you probably like it, or if you don't, if you have tried it and didn't like it, or have learned something about it, like it damages your skin over time or anything, then I'm curious what other people's thoughts are on these. But so far so good. My hair, so I don't know what order I'll put this video together in, but this is my hair maybe like an hour after taking it out of the steam curls that I put in. I mean, I like the wave that it has, but it definitely is not curly anymore. It's just like slightly wavy. This piece looks like it's holding on the best, but the curls fell almost instantly, so that is displeasing. But I also didn't do any hairspray. My hair is extremely oily, which I thought would be beneficial for the curling because they generally tell you to have like 2-day dirty hair, at least 1 day dirty hair when you go to the salon to get your hair done, like curled and done for an event or something. So I thought dirty hair would be better for the curls, but maybe it's just so oily that it's not. The ends aren't that oily, but I do oil the ends daily. Other than this weekend because I didn't even take my hair out and brush it for 2 days. So I have tried coconut oil mask in my hair, just in like the lengths and the end, not near my scalp. I don't know. I have a feeling that it's gonna make me itchy if I put it in my scalp. And my hair has felt much softer and shinier, looked more shiny. So I think that is doing something positive. So all in all, hair and skin, we're having a good week. I'm gonna keep doing the coconut oil once or twice a week. I'm gonna go put that in now. So that way when I shower tonight, I've gotten a little bit of oiling in. I think that's all of the updates for everything. I finished the loaf of banana bread. It smells delicious. I think it's gonna be delicious. But now it is, what time is it? It's almost 5 o'clock and I haven't had anything to eat. So my fiance made me this beautiful bowl, acai bowl made from kefir that he cultures at home. And he makes like a overnight oats chia pudding type consistency thing, and also puts lots of like antioxidant, anti-cancer powders in there, and then puts fruits and nuts and cinnamon and honey on top, and it's delicious, and this is what we have every day. So time for me to go eat this, so hopefully I can eat this and then be slightly hungry for dinner, although I'll probably be quite full, but that's okay. So I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know anything. Bye.